Hello YouTube, I am back and I am in much better spirits today, well rested. So before I get into anything, I just want to say welcome to my channel if you are new here, and if you are not new, welcome back. My name is T. Today we're going to be talking about the 2025 savings report that Bankrate puts out each year. So this will be the 2025 one. But before I get into that, I wanted to talk about a saving tip from T. And that is, if you do not have a vacuum sealer, what are you waiting for? Now, it will cost a little money on the front end. I suggest ones from sporting goods stores, hunting stores, like a Cabela's, a Bass Pro Shop, a Dunham's, someplace like that. They have them anywhere from $50 on up to like $600, $700. But the value of a vacuum sealer means that you can go into a grocery store on one of those discount meat days where they have meats on discount, and you can stock up, you can vacuum seal them, and that meat will last and stay fresh in a freezer for over 12 months because it is sealed. Not like in a Ziploc bag, it's vacuum sealed. So you can actually save money by stocking up on meat that's on sale and just storing it for the future. Now, if you're not a meat eater and you eat vegetables and fruit, same thing goes. A vacuum sealer can seal your fruits where you can freeze them and you can store them for a longer period of time. Now, that's going to be significantly lower than meat, of course. I think anywhere from 3 to 4 months instead. But if you add on the addition of a dehydrator to that, and they run, I think you can get those anywhere from 150 on up. Those can help for fruits and vegetables to stay longer. And what I suggest is using that in combo. If you're a juicer, for instance, your pulp, you could actually vacuum seal your pulp to be used for future things. Pulp can be used in baking, it can be used in smoothies, it can be used in a number of different things. So you can actually make also strips, almost like a jerky strip, but it's fruit. You can actually make those from pulp. And pulp is a very high fiber part of your fruit and vegetable. So that's just a tip from T. Vacuum sealer, dehydrator, perfect combo to be able to get food on sale and store it for a long time. Let's get into the video. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today I'm talking about the 2025 Bankrate Emergency Savings Report. They put one out each year and it kind of goes over where people are with their savings. Are they on target? What are they spending their money on? Have they dipped into their emergency fund, etc., etc. So I found it very interesting, and it gave me a lot of insight into kind of where you may want to look into and kind of delve into your savings. And I found some really interesting data in here. First of all, I'm just going to go ahead and read just a little portion of this. I will actually link this in the description of this video and also in the pinned comment. So it starts off just talking about basically the current state of the U.S. In the last several years, Americans have reckoned with a number of economic headwinds, from high inflation to a slowing job market, making it harder for them to save. Many are still determined to save money, but given the high percentage of people without emergency savings, they may be struggling to do so in today's turbulent economy. And I so agree. Each time the prices for everything goes up, it makes it harder and harder for you to save money. So I definitely understand that. And it gave some little tidbits. Fewer than half of Americans have enough emergency savings to cover 3 months of expenses. I think that's been that way for quite a while, if I'm not mistaken. More than 1 in 3 Americans need to tap into their emergency savings in the past year. So in the past 12 months, more than 1 in 3 Americans have had to go into their emergency savings just to kind of make it through. And that's amazing. Fewer Americans have more credit card debt than emergency savings. So that is a good thing. That means that more people have more savings than they do credit card debt, because it says fewer Americans have more credit card debt than emergency savings. It says 33% of the U.S. adults have more credit card debt than emergency savings, and that is down from 36% in 2024 and 2023. It's still higher than 2022, but at that time, 22% of Americans had more credit card debt than emergency savings. So it's still high, but it's lower than the past 2 years. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. But this is the thing that I was kind of interested in. It had the emergency savings by generation, and it shows that millennials and Gen Zers have the highest percentage of no emergency savings. And that kind of struck me because millennials, and they seem to be more in tune with kind of having their finances together. When I look at stuff online, it just kind of seems that way. But I am obviously mistaken. Millennials and Gen Zers have the highest percentage of no savings, followed by my group, the Gen Xers. We are a rogue group. We basically raised ourselves. We are a different breed. Our generation, I feel like, is a forgotten generation because we were latchkey kids. We were doing our own thing. We were helping with kids. We were babysitting at young ages. We were coming home with a key to come in the house by ourselves. We were cooking for ourselves. We were getting on a bike and going outside and staying gone all day, and nobody knew where we were. Had no clue till the street light came on and we had to come home. We were just rogue. We were rogue. So, and the lowest percentage for the people that didn't have emergency savings is the baby boomers. They seem to have money. They have more money than the rest of us. So that was interesting to me. And this was also interesting. The majority of people are uncomfortable with their level of savings. And I'm going to just put myself in there in the mix. I am uncomfortable with my level of savings, and I save a lot. But I think you start reading articles, you start seeing the news, you start getting worried, you start, am I saving enough? Is it enough? Will it ever be enough? And you just start running yourself through this whole mental thing that kind of talks you out of whether you're on track. Even though you could see a calculator and it says, oh, you're perfectly on track, you'll still put yourself in that mind frame that, oh, maybe I'm not on track. And then I see people that have retired on significantly less. I have a friend that just retired last year. He retired with, I think, $500,000 in 401k savings, and he is doing perfectly fine. Now, he did prep himself before he retired. He paid his house off, no car debt, no credit card debt. So he basically has zero debt, and he lives extremely modestly. But he retired with $500,000, and I think I want to say he's 55 or 56. So, I mean, it's definitely doable with less than what they say, because they're always throwing out the $1 million number, that $1 million amount. Now, I will say, I think his net worth probably is $1 million if you're counting his the equity in his home and etc. But still, cash on hand, $500,000, he retired. So it is doable. You just have to know how you plan to live in retirement. And then the last thing I'm going to go over that was in this article is how people spent their money. Now, this one I found amazing, because it's like how people tend to use their emergency savings, and they tend to use it for essentials. 80% of people who use their emergency savings in the past year, as of February 2024, use money for essentials. Specifically, about half use their emergency savings in the past year did so for an unplanned emergency expense such as a medical bill, car repair, monthly bills such as rent and utilities, and day-to-day expenses such as food and supplies. Those are necessities. Because they are necessities, to me, that is an admirable thing. They are not spending their money on excess and lavish living. Most people are spending their money on essentials. The next thing I wanted to go over is how many Americans who dipped into their emergency savings in the past year pulled $1,000 to $2,499. So $1,000 to basically $2,500. 1 in 4 people. So 26% of the people who pulled from their emergency savings in the past year, they pulled between $1,000 and $2,499, basically $2,500. And that is a higher percentage than any other amount that was pulled. So that is significant, because if the average emergency is running from $1,000 to $2,500, could that give you a better tweaking of how much you probably would want your emergency fund to at least be? You know, Dave Ramsey suggests the $1,000 baby fund until you get out of debt. Maybe $2,500 should be the new $1,000. Just a thought. But I found that interesting. The next highest category, people withdrew from their emergency savings in the past year to help a family member. That was the second highest category. And the third highest was to pay down debt. So that amazed me, because that lets me know that even in the midst of all the chaos in the world, we are still looking out for each other. It may not seem like it, because I say that all the time, like, family's not family anymore. They just don't. But obviously, we still have it in us to help our family member out in circumstances. Is it always the best thing to do? It can be not so good to do. But if you are giving freely and it's not something that's going to break the bank for you, so be it. But anyway, those are some of the things that I found in this article that were very interesting. It has much, much more data in here. So I suggest you check it out. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link in the description of the video as well as in the pinned comment. So check it out, and I will be back next time. I don't know what I'm doing next time, but I'll be back. So talk to you soon. Peace.